GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm CJ Waterhouse. We'll unpack the council's vote on cutting ties with Israel, hear why La Salle College may seek creditor protection, and check the snowstorm-linked traffic snarls downtown. Plus a quick look at Good Food's latest creditor protection move. Jeff, what do you make of that?
The Montreal International Puppet Festival begins Tuesday at Place des Arts, running through Friday with performances from 30-plus international troupes.
Each afternoon showcases family-friendly shows lasting 30 minutes, while evenings feature elaborate productions lasting up to 90 minutes, all staged on the main theater and outdoor courtyard.
Admission is free for all daytime performances, and the festival offers complimentary puppet-making workshops for children aged 5 to 12, scheduled each morning at the Museum Pavilion.
Lots to get to, let's begin, with today's stories awaiting you after this delightful puppet festival preview on the air. Here are our top stories.
Montreal City Council will debate a motion Monday afternoon to suspend institutional ties with the Israeli government. The decision will affect municipal foreign relations. Nadia Bellafuel has the full story.
At City Hall, council members are gathered for a session that could sever Montreal's official links with the Israeli government. The agenda lists a motion to suspend all institutional ties, a step that would halt joint cultural programs, sister city exchanges, and any formal cooperation agreements. Speakers on both sides have taken the floor, arguing over the political and practical implications of a break. The debate is scheduled for Monday afternoon, August 24, 2026, and will be put to a vote before the council adjourns. Observers note that the outcome could reshape how the municipality engages with foreign partners moving forward. The council's decision will be recorded in the official minutes and could prompt similar discussions in other Canadian cities. Nadia Bellafuel, GMNA News, Montreal. La Salle College warns it may file for creditor protection as early as Monday afternoon to avoid closure, citing a $48 million debt to the Quebec government. Premier Christine Fréchette is monitoring the situation. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Facing a looming debt of $48 million to the Quebec government, La Salle College announced it could be forced to seek creditor protection as early as this Monday afternoon. The private post-secondary school says the move is intended to keep its doors open while it works out repayment terms. Premier Christine Fréchette acknowledged the province's exposure and indicated discussions are ongoing to find a viable solution. Officials warned that without a protective filing, the institution risks complete shutdown, leaving students and staff in limbo. The college is currently reviewing its finances and exploring all options to avoid bankruptcy and preserve its programs for the community. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, La Salle.
Record heat wave across Quebec this August is pushing dairy farms to the brink, with soaring humidex levels cutting milk yields and causing cow fatalities. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Extreme heat sweeping Quebec this August has pushed dairy farms into crisis, with producers reporting sharp drops in milk output and a spate of cow deaths. Temperatures have surged well above normal, and humidex readings have climbed into the high 30s, leaving cows struggling to regulate body heat. Veterinarians on site say heat stress reduces feed intake, directly cutting milk yields by as much as 20% on some farms. Several barns have recorded mortalities, primarily among older animals unable to cope with the sustained warmth. Farm owners are turning to shade structures and misting systems, but the rapid rise in temperature leaves little relief. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
A 15-year-old boy was seriously injured after his moped collided with a vehicle early Sunday in Montreal's Les Setters neighborhood, and police are asking for witnesses. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Early Sunday morning, a 15-year-old was thrown from his moped after it slammed into a car in the Les Setters neighborhood. Emergency crews arrived within minutes, finding the teen with serious injuries and transporting him to a nearby hospital. Police say the collision occurred on a residential street, but they have not released details about the other driver or vehicle involved. Investigators are now canvassing the area and reviewing dash cam footage, and they are asking anyone who saw the crash to come forward. No arrests have been made, and authorities stress the importance of gathering witness statements to piece together what led to the accident. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Les Setters.
Quebec Minister Christine Fréchette called for a strategic tariff response after Ottawa announced a dollar-for-dollar retaliation against the United States, saying the federal approach lacks nuance. Nadia Bellafuel has the full story.
Quebec's Minister of International Relations, Christine Fréchette, said the province will pursue a more strategic tariff response to the United States after Ottawa announced a dollar-for-dollar retaliation. Speaking from a press briefing in Quebec City, Fréchette stressed that Quebec does not fully endorse the federal government's blanket approach, arguing that a nuanced strategy is needed to protect local businesses and consumers. She outlined plans to coordinate with provincial stakeholders and to target specific sectors where American measures have caused the most pressure. The minister also warned that an overly broad retaliation could ripple through supply chains and raise costs for everyday shoppers. She called for dialogue with Ottawa to shape a balanced policy. Nadia Bellafuel, GMNA News, Quebec City. Later we'll explore how Quebec plans to reuse the pandemic aid model for businesses, a move that could reshape support. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Quebec will revive its pandemic-era emergency assistance program to bolster businesses 6 years after COVID-19, aiming to stimulate recovery across the province. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Quebec officials are rolling out the same financial aid framework that helped keep the province afloat during the coronavirus crisis, this time aimed at businesses still feeling the strain 6 years after the health emergency. The program will deliver direct cash grants and low-interest loans to companies of all sizes, mirroring the rapid response measures that were deployed in 2020. Eligibility will be determined by payroll size and revenue loss, with applications processed through the same online portal that handled pandemic claims. Ministers say the goal is to inject liquidity and stabilize employment as the economy continues to rebound. The announcement was made at a press conference in Quebec City, where provincial leaders outlined the rollout timeline and next steps. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
A new FCEI study reveals Quebec's smallest firms are paying taxes up to 5 times higher than larger competitors, straining their bottom lines. The findings raise questions about the province's fiscal balance. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Small businesses across Quebec are seeing tax bills that dwarf those of larger competitors, a new study released today shows. The research, conducted by the Fédération des Chambres de Commerce du Québec, compared the effective tax rates paid by firms with fewer than 50 employees to those with more than 200. On average, the smallest firms are paying rates that are up to 5 times higher than their bigger counterparts. The analysis points to a combination of provincial sales tax, corporate income tax, and payroll levies that together weigh more heavily on the bottom line of these enterprises. Business owners say the gap makes it harder to invest, hire, and stay afloat during a tight market. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Quebec City.
Quebec City's plan for a temporary supervised consumption center faces delay as community resistance grows, despite rising overdose rates prompting public health officials to push the project forward. Nadia Bellafuel has the full story.
The city's plan to open a temporary supervised consumption center is now on hold after neighborhood opposition pushed officials to pause the project. Health authorities had slated the site to open later this summer as part of a strategy to curb the province's rising overdose deaths. Overdose incidents have climbed to levels not seen in a decade, prompting urgent calls for intervention. Residents in the Saint Jean-Baptiste district voiced concerns about safety and property values, prompting the mayor's office to request a review of the location and operating hours. Public health officials say the delay hampers their ability to provide immediate harm reduction services, but they remain committed to finding a site with broader community support. Nadia Bellafuil, GMNA News, Old Quebec. Local merchants, municipal staff, and emergency responders in a Quebec town are receiving dementia-friendly training to better serve residents with the condition, part of a growing national effort. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Training sessions are underway in a Quebec town as local shop owners, city staff, and emergency crews sit together to learn how to recognize and respond to the needs of residents living with dementia. The program, coordinated by municipal officials, walks participants through simple communication cues, signage adjustments, and how to handle emergencies with a calm, patient approach. Merchants practice greeting customers with clear directions, while firefighters and paramedics review protocols for safe assistance during a crisis. Officials say the goal is to make everyday interactions smoother for those affected by the condition, reducing confusion and stress for families. The effort joins a broader push across Canada to build dementia-friendly communities. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Montreal.
Police say a man was found with severe upper body injuries after a Saturday night fight in Montreal, now in critical condition. Violent altercations in the city often require immediate medical response. Nadia Bellafuil has the full story.
Police arrived at the corner of St. Laurent and St. Denis Saturday night after neighbors reported a violent scuffle. First responders found a man lying on the sidewalk, clutching his torso and arms with multiple deep lacerations and apparent broken ribs. Paramedics stabilized him on scene, applying pressure dressings and immobilizing his spine before rushing him to a trauma center. He remains in critical condition, with doctors saying he is fighting for his life. Officers are canvassing the area for witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage to identify those involved in the altercation. The investigation is ongoing, and authorities have not released further details about the incident. The city's emergency services continue to respond to similar calls across the area. Nadia Bellafuil, GMNA News, Montreal. Let's get a look at your afternoon forecast with our meteorologist now.
A steady mid-latitude ridge and a southerly jet keep Montreal clear and modestly warm this afternoon. On this date, the all-time high reached 33 degrees Celsius in 2021, set during an early season heat wave that pushed the city into the upper 30s for several days. The all-time low sits at 10.3 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2013 when an Arctic air mass slipped south behind a stalled front, plunging temperatures well below the seasonal norm. By contrast, the 1981-2010 normal high is 24 degrees and the normal low is 16 degrees, so today feels comfortably between the extremes. On the live radar, the screen is spotless over the island, but a narrow band of moderate echoes is marching eastward across the southern hinterland. At a pace of roughly 20 kilometers per hour, it will brush the western suburbs around 1 p.m., intensify as it slides over the St. Lawrence corridor near 3, and peak just before 4 p.m. before the cells thin and the map clears by early evening. At noon, the thermometer reads 21 degrees with a clear sky and a gentle southerly breeze. The atmosphere sits under near-average pressure that is holding steady, while a southerly jet stream at 5,647 meters delivers warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico. This ridge will keep temperatures hovering around 21 to 19 degrees through the afternoon, then dip to 18 as clouds build in the early evening. The UV index sits at 4, indicating modest solar intensity. Winds remain light, never exceeding 21 kilometers per hour, and no weather alerts are in effect. By 7:47, the sun will set, and the sky will turn overcast as the lingering moisture drifts in, setting the stage for the extended outlook. Looking ahead, Tuesday holds a high of 21 and a low of 15 with a persistent clear sky, a quiet start to the mid-week stretch. Wednesday nudges the mercury up to 24 and down to 17, again under blue skies, as the ridge remains anchored over the province. Thursday breaks the pattern. Clouds thicken, and the model shows a 55% chance of rain, while temperatures climb to 27 and dip only to 18, making it the warmest day of the period. Friday returns to a dry spell, 24 to 16 degrees and bright conditions. Saturday eases to 21/16 with partly cloudy skies, hinting at a gentle wind relief before the next system approaches. The sequence offers a mix of warmth, a brief wet spell, and a gradual cooling toward the weekend. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Heavy snowstorm traffic is building, the Canadians' rising stars are making headlines, and Good Food's creditor protection story shines. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
The biggest holdup this morning is the multi-vehicle crash on the Mercier Bridge near the La Prairie exit. Emergency crews are still clearing the pileup, leaving 2 lanes closed and traffic crawling at a crawl. The delay is expected to add roughly 15 minutes for drivers heading downtown or toward the South Shore. Snow is still falling, making road surfaces slick across the island, especially on the Descaries and the Autoroute Quinns corridor, where traction is poor and braking distances are longer. In the west, Park Avenue is shut for a city-sponsored cycling event, forcing cyclists and motorists onto St. Laurent and St. Catherine, where volumes are up. On the transit side, the SDM has restored bus service to the school routes, so regular riders can expect normal schedules. Expect the storm to linger into the afternoon, so keep headlights on and allow extra time on any route.
The biggest buzz today is a Quebec microbrewery turning a 1946 movie theater into a brewing hub, now pouring at Time Out Market Montreal. Vintage screens frame a lineup of Pilsner, NEIPA, and Belgian wit beer, so you can sip history with your lunch. The setting blends retro cinema charm with modern taps, perfect for a quick break or a relaxed unwind. Next up, Tavola Italiana shows how to craft the perfect Italian dinner inside the market, pairing regional wines with plates that celebrate gathering around the table. Whether you're a pasta purist or a wine explorer, the menu guides you through classic risotto, fresh mozzarella, and a curated wine list, all served at communal tables. With both experiences under one roof, your lunch break just got a taste upgrade. Keep an eye on the calendar later this week for festivals and sports, but for now, these culinary moments are the ones to savor. And now here's Jason with sports. Habs prospects rise, Suzuki climbs the ranks, and a legend fights back. Owen Beck lands at 15 on the Canadiens' top 25 under 25 list, confirming the promise seen since his 2022 draft. 27 NHL games and solid AHL seasoning have turned potential into tangible upside, highlighted by his first goal last season. Expect him to vie for a regular roster spot this fall. Nick Suzuki jumps to 9th on NHL Network Center rankings, edging up from 10th a year ago. The move underscores his evolution into a premier playmaker for Montreal, bolstering the top 6 forward group. The Habs also revisited the Josh Anderson trade, weighing its long-term roster impact. Former Habs great Ivan Lambert is convalescing at Lakeshore General after a fall left him with multiple fractures. While he focuses on healing, the hospital's hallway now showcases a new monument honoring Jean Béliveau, reminding fans of the franchise's storied past as Lambert regains strength. Stay tuned for the Canadiens' next moves as the season looms. Thanks, Jason. Good Food, the Centerville meal kit pioneer, is in the news today. The Montreal-based company known for delivering fresh, locally sourced recipes to kitchens across the province has entered creditor protection after a wave of financial strain. Just 6 months ago, CEO Selim Bassel stepped down following a stark warning about the firm's future only 2 weeks earlier. The protection filing is designed to restructure the business and keep the jobs that keep our food service ecosystem humming. Neighborhood cafes and families alike depend on its convenient, healthy options, and the restructuring promises to keep those plates full. For a city that prides itself on culinary innovation, Good Food's survival matters because it supports local farmers, creates kitchen jobs, and keeps Montreal on the map as a food-forward hub. Coming up, former PQ MP René Gauval launches a Quebec Solidaire bid, and we follow the hunt for Quebec's oldest white pine. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. The legendary Vans Warped Tour is back, turning Parc Jean-Drapeau on St. Helens Island into a two-day punk rock playground for fans on August 21st and 22nd. Music lovers across the province are already planning their trips, and thousands of concert goers will flood the park. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks CJ Waterhouse. I'm standing on the green lawn of Parc Jean-Drapeau, the air buzzing with the roar of amps and the scent of fried dough as the Vans Warped Tour kicks off on a bright August afternoon. Hundreds of fans in ripped tees and neon hair dye sway beneath a massive LED screen that flashes the tour's logo, while the stage on the island's waterfront glitters with strobe lights reflected off the river. A Day to Remember launches the night, their guitars shredding as the crowd chants every lyric, then All Time Low erupts into a chorus of sing-along hooks that ripple through the park. Between sets, food trucks line the promenade, serving poutine and cold beer, and families set up blankets on the grass, sharing moments that feel like a reunion after a 12-year wait. This return marks the first Warped Tour appearance in Montreal since 2014, reigniting a generation's love for punk rock community. The energy here proves music still unites strangers into one loud, hopeful family. Carl Dumont virtually at Parc Jean-Drapeau. Welcome back. Former Parti Québécois member René Gauvau has entered the Quebec Solidaire slate in Montreal's Camille Laurin riding, announcing his candidacy on August 22, 2026. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
René Gauvau, who served 3 terms as a Parti Québécois member of the National Assembly, declared on August 22 that he is running in the upcoming provincial election under the Quebec Solidaire banner. He will contest the Camille Laurin riding, a Montreal district that has traditionally leaned toward sovereigntist parties. Gauvau said his decision reflects a shift toward the progressive platform of Quebec Solidaire, emphasizing social justice and environmental policies. Party leader Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon welcomed the former PQ legislator, noting that his experience could broaden the party's appeal in the east end of the city. The candidacy adds a new dynamic to a race that already includes several high-profile contenders. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Camille Laurin.
Researchers comb the Lanaudière forests this weekend, seeking Quebec's oldest white pine, a tree that could be centuries old. The hunt could reshape understanding of the province's natural heritage. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Teams of forest scientists have set up a temporary camp in the rolling hills of Lanaudière, combing the mixed woodlands for a towering white pine that could be the province's oldest. Using increment borers, they extract tiny core samples from candidate trees, then count the growth rings to estimate centuries of growth. The search intensifies as the season brings milder weather, allowing crews to reach remote stands that were previously inaccessible. Researchers note that Quebec's white pines often surpass 300 years, and pinpointing the most ancient specimen could add a living benchmark to the region's natural heritage. The effort continues through the week, with specialists cross-referencing historical records and satellite imagery to narrow the field. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Lanaudière.
Thank you, Montreal, for tuning into the lunch break. Today's standout moment was Quebec's towns training businesses and first responders on dementia-friendly services, a step forward for our community. We appreciate your attention and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow. See you then.